Hi, everybody. I am here. Just for some reason, it's still saying what it was yesterday, so give me a second just to change it. Sorry about this. There you go. That's enough of a name for now, because it'll change on here in a second for you guys. There it is. Hi, Katie. How are you today? So we're going to make this really quick, really easy, simple accordion folio. I've seen them on Pinterest. I've seen them on YouTube. I just kind of looked at what I saw and decided how I wanted to do it. So I have no idea if this is the right way or the wrong way, but this is my interpretation of that folio. So it actually is big, but holds a small footprint. So all I did on the front is a piece of pattern paper, and I thought because it kind of spoke for itself, that I would just take one of the cut aparts that Tammy now has in her collection and cut it out, fussy cut. And then I had a embossing folder, and I just ran through some white artisan cardstock to put a leaf emboss on it. And then I just matted that on a piece of artisan brown cardstock. And I lifted every layer. I popped every layer up with adhesive foam. Hi, Tanya. Nice that you could join me. So I have no idea how I'm going to show this to you because it's wider than my desk. I think I'll just go like this just to keep it simple. So basically, it's just a sheet of pattern paper, and then I decided to put photo mats on it, just sort of to give some reference points for people. I used only the cut aparts from the collection, and I love how it turned out. Hi, Trisha. I made the photo mats various sizes, so you could do what you want, because the album itself measures, should have told you that first, it's a 5.5 by 8-inch album or folio, so it's a really nice size. Hi, Rhonda, so nice that you could join us. So we're just starting. I was just doing a quick walkthrough of the actual project. Tried to explain to everybody that, you know, it opens like this and it just keeps going. So there's no way I can show it to you on my desk. Hi, Cheryl, so glad you could join us. So we're just going to go through each page. Like I said, I used the cut aparts. They are so easy to cut out. They're just so easy. I didn't even mount these on any cardstock or anything because I wanted to make sure that I was leaving room for the picture to be tucked in behind them. But it's beautiful. I love this paper. It's stunning. It's just, it screams fall. And then we're at the back of the album. And I did leave my ribbon on the outside of my pattern paper. You could always put it underneath, but you don't want to wrap it completely around. So my ribbon is just adhered to this back, because when you flip it, so we went this way. Okay, now we're going to go this way, which totally messes with me because I feel like I'm going from the back of the book. So here's the opposite side. And it's, like I say, I love it. I love how it turned out. And like I said to you before, I did various photo mat sizes. You wouldn't even have to put a photo mat on every one. Oh, Donna, thank you. I'm so glad you like it. It's simple. It's something you could produce. You could mass produce these if you wanted to. So this is what we're creating. So now we're at the back of the book. This is what we're going to create today. And we're using, just going to pull this in for a second. I have enough paper left. So I used one sheet of each design out of this collection. So I have enough. Hello, Miss Tammy. I have enough left that I could make 2 more of those, but I'm going to come up with something different. Don't know what it is right now, but I'm going to come up with something different. So for you, those of you that may not know what this is an exclusive to Country Craft Creations. Tammy designed this paper. This one is called Autumn Orchard, and I love this paper. I absolutely love this paper. Hi, Diane. Cheryl, I'm not quite sure what you're saying there. I would have, oh, yes, yes, I did have a really hard time covering the paper. At one point in time, I almost thought about cutting around my photo mat. And then I went, just put the photo mat on top of the paper, Bonnie. Enough of it still shows through. You could mat smaller pictures too. And there's nothing to say you couldn't adjust that measurement and make it larger. So let's get into this paper because it's stunning. You can even use the cover sheet on this paper. These tags down here, I could see them on the front of a set of cards. I'm pretty sure that's where some of this is ending up. I just haven't got there yet. So even the cover page is made of her cotton Bristol paper. It's beautiful. You got 2 sheets of the cut aparts, so I only have one left. And so Cheryl, if you're going to go smaller, you might want to look at the 8x8 collection, because Tammy has this in an 8x8. I received the 12x12 because in the 8x8 the print's going to be a little smaller, so you'd see more of the print maybe. So you get 2 of the cut aparts, and she also, you could use the back of them if you wanted to with this buffalo plaid. Then you get 2 of the 3x4s, 4x4s, 3x3s. So you get 2 sheets with all of these on them. I cut out the other sheet, but I didn't use it in my folio. So I know they're going into another project. And look, this is what's on the back of it. It's such, the B sides of this paper is just stunning. It's hard to decide which side you really want to use. So like I say, you get 3 sheets of each. So there's Wilbur. Couple scarecrows, lots of pumpkins. Beautiful. And then there's your backside. You know what I'm going to do? I just got to move you guys for a second because I think if I turn on these lights, I might not have quite the glare. There, that looks better to me. Let's try this and see if we're happier with this. And this one, I love the squirrel. And then these leaves, these purple leaves, they match my nails today. Love it. I know, Cheryl. And then in the orchard, look at the red truck full of apples. And it's almost like this paper has a texture to it. I don't know if my camera will do it justice. It's going to be hard for me to look at both, but it's sort of got a texture. And you can see it a little bit. Not much, though. And then on the back side, it's just straight up apples. Love it. And these scarecrows and the fall, she knocked this one out of the park. And I love this one. And then this would make a great 12x12 layout. I am not a 12x12 layout person, but I know there are people out there, and wouldn't this look stunning with your pictures? You wouldn't need to do much else to it as far as I'm concerned. And then on the back, it's just sunflowers, stripes. You could even cut these out. You could cut it out and you could put it on the edge of a box. Ooh, maybe that's what I should do. So that was that one. I love this one. This reminds me a lot of where I grew up as a kid. There was pumpkin places, no apples because there were no apple orchards there, but lots of pumpkins in the fall. And check this side out. Love it. So beautiful. And then here's another truck, Cheryl. Check that out. And then the other side. I've already done all this in a walkthrough, but one of the other designers had suggested, said she was going to do this, and I went, that's a really good idea. So as long as I have 1 sheet of each left, I will do that before each of my projects in the future. Welcome to the pumpkin patch. And then there's the back. So that is the beautiful autumn orchard. If you haven't ordered it already, make sure you get over to Country Craft Creations and get your name on the collection. I believe it comes in, I know it comes in 12 by 12, and I believe it comes in 8 by 8. So let's get started. And let's hope that I can remember exactly what I did. I did post the cutting guide, a quick cutting guide, in the description over on Country Craft Creations. Hopefully I got all my measurements right. It's just been a crazy morning around here. So you're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard. Let's get those out of there. That measure 5.5 by 8. And you're going to want to cover them with some of the dry adhesive, because we're going to cover our front and back cover just the way we would do it if we were making an album with a spine in the middle. Only, of course, there's no spine in this one. So let's get our adhesive onto our chipboard. I'm just going to work from the bottom, which we're going to see how awkward I find this. Cut this. Appears I cut it just a little bit short, but that's okay. It's going to be fine. And I cut it a little too long that way. Oh, I thought I fixed that problem. Who knows? All right. So what we need is we need my straight edge, and I'm going to need something to cut on. I know I could cut on my mat, and I don't. Yes, I'll cut on my paper instead. I don't know. I can't cut into the mat. I wish I could. Probably going to have to do the same with the second one. Thought I had cut it down, but obviously I had not. So there's one. And let's get number 2. Cheryl, I think that whole collection is I'm usually not a big fall, Halloween kind of individual. I like the season. I love the season. But I'm sorry, we don't, unfortunately, I don't think we embrace fall enough here in Canada. We like it, but we don't embrace it. And especially where I live, we don't get those beautiful leaf colors. There's none of that. So it actually becomes a very boring season. Like, we get yellow. We might get a little bit of red, but not like they do back east. Not like they do in Ontario where my mom lives. So we're going to burnish the score tape. There we go. It's nicely burnished. Are you, Cheryl? You know, that's the one thing I do miss about not living back east is the changing of the colors. So to wrap our 2 pieces of chipboard that measured 5.5 by 8, we need 2 pieces of cardstock, and I'm using the brown. You could use the black. You could use the craft. I think you could even get away with the green. Whatever you feel you'd like to use. So my 2 pieces of cardstock are 7.5 by 10. And all I'm going to need for this job is my 2 spacers that measure 1 inch by 12. So we're going to start with 1. Slide it in there. Oh, really? You get the reds down there? See, we don't get the reds on this side of the mountain. It's really sad. Like, we get yellow, the occasional little bit of red. Like, I've got a red maple in the front yard, and it doesn't really even change color. It kind of just, eventually the leaves fall off of it. So push up that piece of chipboard right to the edge of your spacers. Remember, my spacers are 1 inch by 1 inch, so that gets me my 1 inch. Hi, Dee. So nice that you could join us. And then we're going to burnish the back side of it. And we're going to do the other one too, because then we're going to do all our cutting at the same time. So put your second piece of cardstock into your scoreboard. add your 1-inch spacer and along the top and your 1-inch spacer on the left. And Tammy does sell the spacers at Country Craft Creations. The only thing is the ones Tammy sells do not have these wonderful words of wisdom on them. A fellow crafter sent me these wonderful vinyl adhesives to put on mine. Oh, Diane, lucky you. Well, not here, Cheryl, unfortunately. But yes, I love the colors of fall. Not so much today because we got a blustery kind of day outside today. I'm surprised it hasn't rained yet. So let's furnish this. And then we will try to keep my craft space organized today. We're going to fold over. I shouldn't have put that away. We're going to fold over the 1-inch. So what I'm doing is I'm using my chipboard and I'm folding it over onto the 1-inch that I left around the edge of it. You know what? I think that's what she did, Cheryl. They were made with a Cricut, I think. Now let's do both sides. And remember, if you're not using the Artisan, test your paper first before you decide to fold it the way I'm folding it, because not all cardstock is created equally. Some cardstock will crack. Oh, well, maybe. Now, let me just see here, Cheryl. Did I misunderstand? You've got the remnants of a hurricane hitting you in Seattle, Cheryl? Is that the one that was down in Mexico? We're going to repeat on the second one. And the other one. Let's keep going. So anybody got plans for their weekend? Oh, really, Chris? Wow, I'm surprised I haven't heard anything about Vancouver having bad weather. But this is the time of year that... Oh, okay. So let me get this straight, Cheryl. Is there a Seattle by New York? So I'm cutting out. Hi, Chris from Federal Way. You're closer to me. I live in the Okanagan in British Columbia, sort of just above Spokane. Well, a little further to the west of Spokane, but the little town on the other side of the border is called Oroville. So that would give you the exact. Go straight north. So we're cutting out our corners. And I cut to about 1/16 of an inch away from that chipboard. I don't know if you can see. I don't like it when we get windstorms. Not fun at all. All right, so now let's do some mitering of our 1-inch tabs. Okay, that's what I thought, where I thought you were, Cheryl. That you were in Seattle, that was in Washington State. I get confused sometimes when I'm trying to talk and think about what I'm doing. So what I'm doing now is I've mitered the 2 edges of my 1-inch tabs. And then I'm just going to turn it around to this side and I'm going to repeat it. And all I do is I just take my scissors, butt them right up to the edge of the chipboard, and then I just rotate them slightly. And that gets me my mitre. So we've got one side left to do. You know, you realize sometimes in this great big world that you find people that don't live that far away from you. So let's get rid of all of this. And then we're going to repeat it on the second one. We're doing a real assembly line today. So let's repeat it on our second piece. And we're going to cut our corners. And remember, just to about a 1/16 of an inch away from the chipboard, maybe a little less. There we go. I think we have a new friendship starting here. Two ladies have discovered they live very close to each other. I love it. That's what this community is all about. All right, so now we're going to miter our 1-inch tabs. Again, you're putting your scissors right up against the edge of the chipboard, and then you're pivoting. It's amazing. And we're repeating on all 4 sides. So like I say, this folio used 5 sheets of 12 by 12 paper, and I have enough left from the scraps that I can definitely get some card bases out of there. Not card bases, but card mats. Maybe not quite, but I'm thinking pretty close. So this is what I ended up with. You know what? I definitely could get the mat for the front of an A2 card out of that, because I'm thinking there's going to be some autumn orchard cards in my future. All right, so let's get started and on to the next step. So we're going to need our art glitter glue. I'm hoping it still continues to cooperate. I like to do my 2 short sides and then my long sides. That's just my preference. You can do it the other way around. All right, so we're going to add a little art glitter glue right along the edge of the chipboard. And then we're going to cover our 1-inch tab. And the reason we put that glitter glue right along the edge of the chipboard, that kind of just softens the fibers a little bit. And that way, when you're folding it over, hopefully, and with the artisan, I must say, it's a rare time when I get cracking. If I get cracking, I'm kind of shocked, actually. Hi, Julianne. I'm probably not saying your name right. So maybe one day we'll meet in person and then you can correct me. Let's turn to the other short side. Again, we're putting the art glitter glue right along that edge of the cardstock. So we're not putting it on the chipboard, we're putting it on the cardstock. And burnish and fold up. And then we're going to turn to the 2 long sides and repeat. And burnish. Hi, Linnell. How are you? I try to remember now to have my YouTube channel also open when I do this, because I know that not everyone comes via Facebook to watch. And remember, I just found this out recently, that if you like the tutorial, so this is on YouTube, if you like the tutorial and you give it a thumbs up, I guess that's the same thing, it makes my tutorial stay near the top. I don't understand the whole concept. So once it goes live, or once it gets posted to Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube, if you could go back and do that, if you've enjoyed the video or the tutorial, I'd appreciate it. And remember, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you do, because I try to post reminders, except today when I was a little slow because I wasn't thinking. That's the one cover. Let's do cover 2. Again, the adhesive goes along the edge of the card chipboard, but not on it. And remember, I've used the art glitter glue. And Tammy also sells that in the store. And burnish. And let's do the other short side. You know what, Chris? This paper is stunning. If you go back and watch this from the beginning again, I did a walkthrough of the collection. It is beautiful. I love the bright colors in it. It's just stunning paper. As I said at the beginning, Tammy knocked this one out of the park. Mind you, as far as I'm concerned, all of her collections. And they're all so different. And you know what? They're exclusive to Country Craft Creations. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I understand that completely, Cheryl. We certainly have to, yes, we have to keep a list, because it's not possible to buy all the paper we like. Exactly, Chris. And you wait to see what's coming. I know she gave you a sneak peek the other day. The puppies on the cookie, on the recipe paper. It's really beautiful. And if you haven't seen her calendar line, check that one out too. There we go. So there's our front and back cover done. And we're just going to set them aside for right now, because we need to make those pages in that folio, the accordion pages. So I asked you to cut, or in the cutting guide, I said cut 3 at 8 by 11.5. And then you're going to score at 1/2, and you're going to score at 6 on all 3 of those sheets. Then I caught a mistake and I fixed it. So hopefully you guys didn't cut your paper already. This one is 8 by 11, and you're scoring at 5.5. For butterflies and roses, well, you never know, Cheryl, what Tammy's got coming. So now you can fold on all those score lines and burnish. So that's the shorter one, the one that doesn't have a 1/2 inch tab along one side. And then let's bring the other 3 in. So you're going to fold. Now, we might have to change the orientation of these as we're putting this folio together, but that's okay. It'll still work. And burnish. Fold. And burnish. I guess that was the fold, and this is the burnish. Let me put the top on my glue, because sure enough, if I leave it sitting like that, we won't have. So give everything a really good burnish. And what we're going to do is these 1/2 inch tabs. You know what, Chris? My husband has said that to me. You're going to be out in the kitchen before you know it. I really try to keep it to this one room, but I have expanded into the basement. I call that my storage area. So we're going to miter the 1/2 inch tabs on the 3 that have a 1/2 inch tab. And 2. So you're just mitering them slightly. And the reason we're mitering them is because these pages go right to the top of the page or the cover. Yes. Yes, I always need to remember I don't live alone. I live with someone. So we're going to give them a good burnish again. And the last one. And then I'm going to bring the cover in so I can just show you what I'm talking about. So here's our cover. So our pages are going to go from the top of the cover to the bottom of the cover, from the right side to the left side. So it takes up the full cover. So that's why you want to make sure that these 1/2 inch tabs are mitered so we don't have any overhang. Okay, so now we're going to get started. So it doesn't matter which one you start with, because all you're going to do, and I'm going to turn my board around so I can work upside, well, it's going to be right side up for me, but my board is going to be upside down, because I'm going to use my board as sort of my guide to keep everything nice and square. So here's our first page. So the side that doesn't have the 1/2 inch tab, it's on the bottom. The 1/2 inch tab is on the top. And then I'm going to take my next page and I'm going to adhere the side that doesn't have a tab on it to this bottom one, to its tab. So I'm stacking them one on top of the other. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. So I'm going to add some adhesive to my 1/2 inch tab. Hopefully I don't make a big mess. I'm butting it right up into this corner, this right-hand corner of my upside-down scoreboard. And this is the nice thing about using the art glitter glue. If something is not straight, you have the time. Hopefully my head is not getting into our picture. And then I want to just look and make sure. No, I'm not going to be happy with that. So we might have to try again, and it might be easier. I know when I put my first one together, working in the corner, but now that want to let you guys see what I'm doing, it's not cooperating. So once you get those two attached, give it a nice burnish. So again, I'll show you. So there's your 1/2-inch tab. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Your 1/2-inch tab on the first page is right here. So you laid it down with the side that didn't have the 1/2-inch tab on it. And then when you adhered the second one to it, it was the raw side, not the 1/2-inch tab side that you glued together. So you're gluing a 1/2-inch tab to the raw side, like so. Okay, 1/2-inch tab to the raw side where there is no 1/2-inch tab. You certainly could. Yes, Tanya. I was thinking of that as I was making this and went, yes, you could. You could do that whole gamut from K through 12. And as a matter of fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This would do enough for something like that. Or if you wanted to put 2 years of preschool in there, sorry, was a preschool teacher, you could add 2 more pages. So all you would need is 1 more of the page that is 8 by 11.5, and then you would do your scoring like it says in my directions at 1/2 and 6. All right, so now let's do this last page. And again, my 1/2-inch tab is facing up. I'm going to take my next page, the side that doesn't have a 1/2-inch tab, it's going to go on top. And I'm not going to try and do this in the corner this time because it certainly didn't work for me. It worked when I wasn't recording, like it always usually does that. But that is the nice thing about the art glitter glue. It gives you a second to fix it if you need to. So I always like to lift it up and make sure that when I'm looking at the edge, so this is the folded edge, so the 1/2-inch tab is under this piece, making sure that nothing is hanging over. All right, so there is basically the guts of it. Now, our last piece is the piece of paper. I'm going to turn my scoreboard around. That measured 11 by 8, and we scored it at 5.5. You're going to attach this to the only 1/2-inch tab you have left. So it's going to go like so. So we're going to put adhesive on our 1/2-inch tab. And then just line it up, making sure, no, too far down. There we go. Like I say, that is the one nice thing about using the art glitter glue. You've got those couple of seconds, especially when you've got one that doesn't want to cooperate. No, taking it off. Like I say, if you don't like the way it's going down, remove it, add some more adhesive, and then you can try again. So we're going to, I'm just trying from this angle. For some reason, when I work away from myself, I'm usually happier about what I've created. Yes. And then once you've got it adhered, open it up. I know it's a lot of paper floating around here. Give it a good burnish. And we should be fine. All right, so we're going to bring our covers back in. So you're going to put one cover here and one cover here, like so. So let's start with the cover that's going on the back. So there is your accordion or your flap. This whole flap is going to be adhered to the back cover. So I'm going to give it a generous amount of glue, making sure I don't go too close to my edge, because we all know there'll be some seepage of the glue. Hi, Jan. How are you today? All right. So again, we're going to turn my scoreboard around. I'm going to hopefully get this to work for me. Going to line it up. So you're lining it up right with the edge of the chipboard. And then before it has time to actually adhere, just pick it up, look and make sure it's not going over any of the edges, which it's not. Oh, I'm happy. And then we're going to give it a good burnish. There, you could add as many pages to this accordion folder as you want, just keeping in mind that when you pull it out, it takes up a lot of space. Give it a good burnish so you get side-to-side coverage with that adhesive. And then we're going to want to repeat that on the other side. So again, there is your flap. Oh, so you never late to this party. As you say, you can go back and watch it. So we're using Autumn Orchard Country Crafts Creations exclusive paper that Tammy designed. And we're making one of those accordion folios. And as I said in the beginning, I saw it on Pinterest and I went, I could do that. You can make these any size you want to make them as long as you've got paper big enough. So again, all I'm doing is I'm laying my chipboard cover on top, and then I'm going to make sure that I am straight. I should have had it in the corner, but I was talking. What else is new? Might have to adjust. No, I think I'm going to be just this one corner. Just need to adjust just ever so slightly. There we go. And give it a good burnish. And that basically is your folio that you created. Again, you could put the ribbon on the back side. Yes, Chris, a Halloween, even like I say, a fall folio, and then you could put it on your fireplace. Yes, because when I went and I took the pictures of this original one, I took it out to my wood pile and took the pictures there. And you know what? If you only wanted to show a few pictures, you wouldn't have to open it all the way. Like this is such a versatile little folio. It comes together so quickly, and it's just so easy. Like I say, we've done that in 45 minutes. That's how long it took us to do this folio today. I don't know how many folios you can have done except for the decorating in 45 minutes. So what I was saying there is you could add the ribbon now. Just make sure that you only adhere it to the back, to this chipboard, because if you try to wrap it around and adhere it to either this side or this side, then you won't get your accordion effect. That's just my little spiel there. So there's our project for Friday. I didn't add Fun Friday to it, but I should have. You sure could. You could make it a decor piece if you wanted to. Actually, that's a really good idea, Chris, or Cheryl, I should say. So there it is. This ribbon I had in my stash, and I liked the wider ribbon on it. It just sort of filled up the page without making it too bulky. And a belly band. Yes, you could use a belly band too, but I was going ribbon because I had this ribbon. Yes, Joyce, I did start at 4 p.m. Eastern time because I am Pacific time. So it's 1 o'clock. So it was 1 o'clock Pacific time, 2 o'clock Mountain time, 3 o'clock Central, and 4 o'clock Eastern. And I'm not going to go any further east than that because I can't remember them. So that's our project for today. I hope you really enjoyed it. I said to Tammy, I'm going to try and do a bunch of these small projects once a week for the next little while, just because she sent me all of that gorgeous paper and I want to get it out there so you can get some ideas. So maybe next week it's going to be cards. I don't know yet. I haven't figured that one out. So I hope everybody has an amazing rest of their day. Remember, if you're part of the CCC Zoom group and you can buy your pass at Country Craft Creations, $10. You get at least 2 times a month where you get to come and Zoom with Tanya and I at 4:30 Pacific, 5:30 Mountain, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. I think that's right. So yes, it would make a great Christmas idea. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.